how to lose and how to choose.
Hello everybody, this is Linda Carbonell from Walking Through Life again. So today I want to have a serious talk with everybody out in the audience. Today we're going to be talking about foster parenting, some of the tools that you could learn to do that, the needs for children, and what the service offers and some of the training and stuff. So I'd like to introduce you all to, make sure I say this right, Dina Rounds, and she is the resource coordinator?
Yes.
For DSF, did I say it right?
DCF?
DCF, sorry.
Which is Division for Children and Families.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about the need? The need, why is it so needed? You know, how many children do you have that's in need, and how many parents do you need?
Well, I have a lot of very talented foster parents, but people have the idea of what they want for kids. They'll take babies. They'll take 6 to 10-year-olds. I have a very large need in this district for people who are willing to take teenagers. I also need all types of foster parents. We have emergency foster parents that only do emergency calls where weekends, evenings, holidays, something happens and a child needs to come into care, they're on call for that time, and it's very short term until we get into court on the following week and find a place for them to go, whether it's with family or another foster home. And then we have long-term care, which is what we're all familiar with, kids staying in foster care forever. That doesn't happen anymore. They now have to have some sort of permanency within 12 months, whether that's to go home or to go to family or be adopted by their foster home, if that's an option. We also have short-term foster care, which kids come into care and we look at who's in their life that can take them. And that takes some time to do the background checks and the home studies, so it can be from a day or two up to a couple of weeks for short-term.
So when you're talking about short-term too, you're talking about kins?
Well, we look at kin, yes.
So a little bit about that, maybe.
Well, the kin, we in Vermont believe that our children do much better if they stay within their family unit. So we ask for who's available in the family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, that can take the children and maintain the contact with the birth family. And those people have to go through the same background checks, the same home studies that a stranger foster care does. So they have to fill out an application, and I do the background checks, and our central office does an extensive background check, and we do home visits to make sure that they have the ability, safety-wise, that they have space for the child, that they have privacy, sleeping space, because a foster child doesn't have to have their own room, but they have to have their own bed. They have to have some privacy. There has to be running water and electricity and phone service, and so we have to go out and verify that the home is safe, even for the relatives. Mm-hmm. Assuming that all of that happens, we can place a child with family, and we strive to do that, because the kids do much better
with family.
With family, yep.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier a little bit about how many children in the area and how many versus how many foster families that you have right now.
Well, we have in this district, we have 62 children in care, and I believe when I did the count, it was 19 are in residential care, which is the really high needs kids that need more than the average foster home can give them. So they go to a residential placement like group home or temporary, we hope, and we get them through what they need to, and then we try to get them into the community. We have 41 children in foster care and kinship care, and I didn't break it down to which is which, but of the homes that I have, I probably have 3 or 4 that don't have placements right now. Mm-hmm. And people that become foster parents will say, I only want babies. If you're waiting for a baby, you're going to wait a long time. Yeah. Because particularly babies, we want to keep with the family if we can. Mm-hmm. If you tell me that you want teenagers, I'm going to be so happy. But it may take a few weeks before we have a teen that meets your needs
Right.
come in, because some people have teenage girls. We're not going to place a teenage boy in a home with teenage girls.
Right. But one of the things I want to say about that too is that may be a challenge to bring in teenagers, a teenage girl or a teenage boy. But the one thing that I can honestly think of by doing that as a point of a child maybe is that here's this family that could just help me be so creative,
Right.
that I could express my creativity, express my desire to be well or to participate and put in what I can to give back,
A lot of our kids, especially our teens, when they come in, they're angry or they're
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we look for homes that can help them level out and then get them involved in things like that. We've had-
Exactly, like mentoring or
Yes,
anything, yeah.
and we have a lot of different programs that help our kids. We can get them into therapy, we can get them into different, we have one child that's in horseback therapy, we have one that goes to swim therapy, and we have foster parents that actually do most of that work themselves because the kids aren't prepared to be out and about yet.
Right.
But-
But it's the stability, I say that right. It's the taking them in so they have the food, the care, the love they need.
Yes,
And if they get that, then maybe that's their chance to grow.
right.
And that's one of the wonderful gifts that I believe the foster parents can do, along with maybe even just giving them a second chance at starting over,
Yes. And it was interesting when I first started here, which was a little over 3 years ago, I placed a baby with a couple, and the babies we definitely try to get back home.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, this young couple didn't have children of their own. And of course you fall in love with the baby. I'm going to hand you a
yeah,
newborn
yeah.
and say, love him, but not too much.
Yeah.
And so because they were new, I went over every week and said to them, now you need to remember, we're working on getting the baby home. You need to remember that reunification is our first goal. And finally the foster mom looked at me and she said, you can't expect us to not feel bad.
Right, right.
She said, you can't hand me this baby and say, love him, but, which is exactly what I do. And in their case, as it turned out, they were able to adopt that child.
Right.
But we do strive to get the kids back home.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of look at it in my situation where I was never able to have children.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I've made so many friends that are children,
Yep.
and to see the progress of, my input and what they have learned from me, I can honestly say that there's the love, and the love from them and the love from me, I think made a close connection. And if you think about it that way, is that whether it's a long-term or short-term, if you're there to help them, and you want to love them and they want to love you,
Yes.
if you just let that happen,
Right.
forever, for however long or however short,
Yep.
I think it's a great gift, Not that not that I've never wanted to be a mother, but that wasn't something that was a part of my life, but I think mentoring children was something.
Yeah, so it's huge.
It is.
We have many people that foster that don't have children of their own.
Yep.
And some of them because circumstances, some because they're single and don't feel like they're in a position to have children, but they want the contact.
Yep.
And they want to be able to help a child. And there's all kinds of ways. If fostering full-time is not for you, do the short-term, do the
Yeah,
emergency
yeah.
work for us. I have one young lady who's setting up an art class that she's going to offer free to foster children.
Oh, nice.
She's not in a position, she actually lives in New Hampshire, but she's planning on moving over here, so until she moves here, she can't foster in Vermont until she's a resident of Vermont. So this is what she has set up and is going to be offering very soon. You'll see the ads out that our kids are going to be able to go to her for free
Oh,
because
that's
she got
just so
some
nice.
kind of a grant.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's just really nice, and I think it feels good to all of us when we can make a difference by helping a child or helping a family that's struggling that wants their children back in their life. I think it's important that we can do that. you know. And speaking of that, I wanted to talk a little about, I know we were also talking about a specific training that people have to take to be foster care or respite care. Can you speak a little about that? What is the process for that? How long does it take? And
when you come in to be a foster parent, I'm actually able to approve somebody temporarily while they wait for the licensors from our central office to come in and do a home study. But what's involved with that is I have the applications at my office. You fill out an application, send it in to me. I do the background checks that I do, which is I can do Vermont criminal system. I can do through DCF if we've had any contact with somebody applying, and through DOC, Department of Corrections, I can do those checks. Then we send that on to our central office and they do the broader checks. But I'm able to approve a home. I go out and verify that you have a fire extinguisher, that you have smoke detectors and CO2 detectors on each floor, and that you have the room and those types of things. And then I'm able to approve, and I can place a child while they're waiting for their permanent license. But within 12 months of becoming a licensed foster parent, you are required to attend a training called Foundations for Foster Care. And I'm actually offering that training the end of March. I was trying to think when it was. The end of March into February, and it is 2 evenings, 2 Tuesday evenings from 5:30 to 8:30, and then 2 Saturdays from 9 to 4. And that's held over to the police department. And that class is mandatory. After that, we have different classes that we put up. We just did one on sexual abuse in kids and how to handle it. We have one that's in the works now, which will be held in Randolph, that is how to deal with the drug-addicted children, or the children who have been raised in a drug-addicted home. They have different needs than the average child, even the average foster child. Some of our kids come in and they have been the parents, even though they're very young, and they need to be, we call that parentified, and they need to be unparentified and allowed to be kids again. And that's been a struggle, because these kids have been the big parents for several years already by the time they come in. We offer, there's a conference once a year which is coming up in Burlington for foster parents, that it's 3 days worth of training, and it's speakers from all over the country, individual classes based on what your needs are, and that's all free to the foster parents.
Wow.
And we request, you have to do 20 hours within a year, and then after that it's 10 hours of training every 2 years. And we offer those things, or other districts will offer a training in anybody in the state can go to those. And those are all free.
I was wondering too, because this is about the halfway point of the show or somewhere near there. I want to give everybody the opportunity to hear your information, your contact information, everything like that, so we can make sure they can get it like 2 or 3 times, and I'll put it at the end of the show too.
Okay. I'm through DCF Family Services in White River, and my contact information is, the phone is 802-295-8840, and I have an email. Do you want me to give that as well?
Do you have an extension on your
I do.
phone?
It's 4154.
For the extension, okay.
Yep.
And then the email, sure.
The email is dina.rounds, that's DEANNA .ROUNDS @state.vt.us. And I respond to both within 24 or 48 hours, as long as I'm in the office.
So if anybody has any questions, they just want to find out more, they can...
They can absolutely call me. I have a packet of information that I send out to people, and if you don't respond to that when I send it out, I will call you, because I chase down those applications, because I want people to feel free to say to me, you know, this really isn't for me, but what else can I do?
Right, exactly.
Because we need transporters for kids, we need you know, somebody just to take a child out for ice cream or whatever. So we offer those types of things. No, I was trying to think of what other contact information you might need.
Is there any kind of like a website that talks about foster?
Yes, if you go to go into Google and Google foster care, you will get DCF, And each district office has their own page.
Okay.
And the Hartford page is up, and it has our couple of kids that we're looking for permanency for. And we also have our classes listed as they come up, and the different towns, because our district covers 22 towns. And rather than tell you all of them, I'll direct you to the website.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they can also contact you and ask questions.
Yes.
If they
And
just, yeah, because like you said, if they aren't interested in being foster parents, there's other things they can do to support
yes.
children
And
that need
the other
foster care.
thing, once you become a foster parent, part of my job is foster parent support. Because the children have social workers, but the
Yep.
foster parents have me.
Oh,
And if they can't reach the social worker, because the social workers have very large caseloads and sometimes they're hard to reach, they can call me and I can generally track them down or track down the answer to a question so they don't have to leave 10 messages.
well, that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
And I think with you being so open to answer any questions.
And if I
No.
don't know the answer, I'm happy to say, I don't know, let me find out.
Right.
And that's part of the big part of my job is to support the social workers in getting those questions answered for the foster parents so we can keep continuity in the kids' lives, because we don't want foster parents getting frustrated and giving a kid back.
And one thing is, if a foster parent fosters a child and the child goes home, then they have the opportunity to foster another child, right?
Yes, yes, and depending on the size of your home, we have one home that is approved for 3 kids. We have, mostly it's 1 or 2 kids, but if we have, say you were approved for 2 and we had 3 siblings come in together and you were willing to take all 3, I can get a waiver on the number of children allowed in your home so that that family can stay together.
Right, because you have two separate bedrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they actually can have the same bedroom, they can't have the same bed. And same-sex children cannot share a bedroom once the youngest is 2.
I want to talk a little bit about the support that you give birth parents.
With the birth parents, they have a social worker assigned to them, and the courts and DCF determine what they need to do in order to get their children back, whether it's go to rehab, go to therapy, go to parenting classes. We have some people that just need the help to learn how to parent.
Skills, yeah.
And to that end, we partner with Easter Seals here in White River, and they have what they call family time coaching, which is visits for the foster kids with their parents, and they have a coach from Easter Seals that comes and sits with them to make sure that they're appropriate with the children, teaching them how to diffuse a situation if a child is upset or crying because they don't want their parent to leave.
Right.
Easter Seals helps the parent deal with that.
And I think that's just so important, because I can imagine it would be devastating to know that your child's going to be taken.
Yes.
And you maybe even feel like you're never going to be able to get him back. But actually there is steps you can take to.
Yes, and we try to put in as many supports as possible because we want people to get their children back. We're definitely not in the baby snatching thing. We want parents to be capable, competent, able to provide safety for their children. And one thing I say to my foster parents, sometimes they will be upset because the child is going home, and we say we are not a quality of life agency, we are a safety agency. So if a parent can provide safety, the children can go home. If you're richer or better at something than the parents are, it doesn't mean that you're a better home.
Right.
Because always blood is better if we can keep the children safe.
Absolutely. I think you're right with that, but I think also is that the gratitude of people seeing that these foster parents are willing to do this for these children. You know, I know that I'm so grateful for people that do take on children and take them into their lives and give them love and, you know, help educate them or see their shining stars come out or whatever. You know, even if that is until the parents are well enough or capable enough to take care of that child, because I don't think that child will ever forget somebody that has done that for them.
Well, and that's very true. We had one teen who was difficult, and she was moved several times. And one of the foster homes that she moved out of, they made their peace after she grew up. And she wound up using them as where she goes after she's 18.
Nice.
And she doesn't live with them, but she goes there for holidays, or she goes there for whatever special occasion that they were able to come around and have a relationship with her.
Oh, it's just so important. It is.
It is.
It's
we
really good to hear we have that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of foster parents who will stay in contact with the children. And most foster parents always offer it. The children don't always want that part of their life brought back up to them.
Right.
But we try.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just think it's so important, and I'm so grateful for the families that we do have, and grateful for you too that you have trainings to not only help foster parents but the parents and the children.
Right.
You know, I mean, it just blows me away that we have all this opportunity to be part of children's lives. You know.
And we all at DCF believe that in our work, obviously, but if you can't save these kids, what's to happen?
I know.
And we want them to feel safe and have good, decent lives and move forward.
And that's why we need more.
Right.
We need much more.
Yes, we need many more, especially in the White River area. I am short in the White River area, so if anybody's listening and would like to become a foster parent, please contact me.
Yeah, and think about giving that child something, you know, a part of you, you
Yes.
know?
And we have, in the training, the Foundations for Foster Care training, we do help the foster parents understand how to let a child go back home.
Yeah,
And how to try to stay in touch with them if the families are willing.
yeah.
So
It's got to be hard to let them go. But you can look at it, too, it's so hard for the parents.
Right.
So hard for the parents to let go for even a short time.
I can't imagine seeing my children go.
Yeah.
And I've had one of my birth parents who said, how can I compete with the foster parents? They have so much more than me. And it's like that, what the foster parents have is safety.
Yeah.
You have love, blood. This is your child. They love
right.
you and they want to come home.
Yeah.
And I've seen that over and over, is that the children want to go home. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they have been through. Home is what they want.
Yeah. It's what they know, you know, and their mom's their mom, their dad's dad, you
Yep.
know. Sisters and...
And we do work, since you mentioned the sisters and brothers, we do work very hard to keep siblings together if we can. If we can't, we try to place them where they can see each other.
Yeah.
And we have one particular family that there was 4 children. 2 were adopted by one place and the other 2 went to 2 separate homes. And those families get together about every 3 months for a day that the kids get to spend it all together. And they talk to each other and things, but they have a special everybody's family day.
So what I wanted to talk a little bit about, it's not just families, but you also placed into single people foster care?
Yes, as long as you meet the standards, if your home is safe and you are not required to be married, you don't have to have a partner, you can be a single person. We allow single adoptions, single
Nice.
parents that adopt our kids. Same-sex couples are welcome. We have found everybody has something to give.
Absolutely. And if you think about it that way, too, is that this is your chance to give a child, a mother, a father, that have this connection, give a part of you to them,
Yes,
a part of you in your heart. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity.
I think it is too, and I
really do.
admire my
I would
foster
love to
parents.
find out more, you know.
I'll be happy to give you
Give
more
me the information. Absolutely.
I never travel without it. That's why I have my
Oh,
books
you have it
me.
with you, yes. And we're going to put the links up and everything up about how people can contact you.
Wonderful.
But I want to make sure we cover that again right at the last part of the show, too.
Okay.
So we'll have you give the information again, your
Okay.
phone numbers.
Again, my name is Dina Rounds. I'm the resource coordinator at Hartford DCF. Our phone number is 802-295-8840. My extension is 4154. My email address is dina.rounds, D-E-A-N-N-A, .rounds, R-O-U-N-D-S, at state.vt.us. And
That's-
please contact me.
Right. And look at all this information that we learned today.
Yes.
I've learned a lot. I didn't
Good.
know all the stuff that you were, most of the stuff that you were talking about, the training,
the supports.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of them.
And one of the things I just want to put in a plug for something that we're working on, we try for what they call educational stability, which is the kids get pulled out of their home, but we don't want them pulled out of their school if they
Right.
don't have to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So we look for people that are in the school district, and even if you're outside the school district, but you're fairly close, we can make arrangements and get the child back to school so that they don't lose that as well as their family.
Right. That's so important.
It is.
And you know, I mean, the long walks that you can have, picking up leaves or picking up flowers or teaching them how to garden or whatever it is that's your passion, you can give that to that child.
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's right.
important. So
I
important.
just had a farmer that raises pigs that became a foster parent, and she said the little kids love the
Yeah,
pigs. So
yeah.
she said, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they've been helping pick up chicken. You
Yeah.
know, they go get the eggs every morning, and the
Yeah.
kids can't wait to do that. So
Right.
this is all things that they wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, well, I have a little friend at home too that she loves to cook. So she comes over to my house and we try out different recipes, and it's a gift that she gives me, is that I get to teach her that.
And she'll take that with her.
Absolutely.
And that's how we feel, is anything that you can offer the children, I'd love to talk to you on whatever level.
I think that would be great. And I just so appreciate you coming and talking about this. And we'd love the opportunity to have you come back.
I'd love
and
to
talk
do
some
that.
more about.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Because I was so happy when you contacted me. I'm trying to find a way to get the word out, and I'm doing different things. I'm
This
at
is the way.
I'm in.
Maybe another show you could come and just explain a little bit more, you know, or you know, do whatever.
I would love to
I
do
think
that.
it would be
Anytime.
great. Yeah.
Anytime.
I think. Well, thank you
Thank
so
you very
much for being
much.
on the show.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you.
obviously, we'll see you again in the future. And I know you're going to be working with CATV to get some stuff together, more information that we can put on for.
Yes, I am. And I
so-
thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So anyway, this is Linda Carbonell, and I'd like to say goodbye for Walking Through Life today, but we'll see you next time. And remember the children out there. Bye-bye.